we're now in picks and bans. The question is, will his champion pool match up with LoLPro with what they want to do? Will he be able to synergize on the fly? Can he deal with a Mega Zero who, with that ribbon play, after getting those triple Doran's blades, that's what he needed to be a Mega Hero.
And there you go. It's 3 Doran's blades. It's a risky choice, but it definitely paid off for Mega Zero, allowing him to be, I don't know about the best Riven in NA, but definitely in that game. As I guess he was the only Riven in that game, so mission accomplished there.
He's also the worst Riven, the most average Riven. He's a lot of Rivens in that one game.
Man, I'm going to host the most average Riven NA tournament. I'm totally not going to win that.
You can't. You have to be able to occasionally, but not all the time, get over the walls with broken
You have to
weights.
be impressive, but not too impressive. It's more about being unimpressive than...
miss like half your ultimates.
I am fully capable of making that happen. But either way, we're in here to picks and bans. Speaking of bans, nice to see a Nocturne ban out there. I would have kind of expected to see that one coming. But once again, there's no Dr. Mundo ban. We've seen that guy be huge over almost every tournament played this week, last week, ever since this 3.14 patch started to come back into that top lane. And Olaf for Billy Boss is going to be great, but there's the Mega Mundo.
And this is the time where I think Complexity is going to get nice and comfortable. Thinking about Jinte, what's his favorite champion? Orianna has not been banned out, will most likely be picked up. Mundo is available as well, something that actually works well with both MIA and Mega Zero. And, of course, MIA, if he does not end up with Mundo, there's still Thresh available. So just lots of comfort picks still available for all of Complexity. And for LoLPro, going to be kind of scary going up against that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to be scary for LoLPro, but one of the things that's scary for Complexity is that bottom lane. LOD and Lopali actually just smashed open Chuper and MIA, and had there not been such heavy dive from Complexity, that would have been a really rough thing to deal with. But Ninja Ken put on his carry pants, laced up his, I guess the sneakers. I'm not sure what boots he built. I think he actually finished off Berserker Greaves, because he does that sometimes when he's really far ahead, really comboed well with Trinity Force, and just dove that backline over and over again. And I think that's actually a reaction from Complexity saying, hey, we may commonly run up against this problem. Here's our answer to deal with it.
I like that. I like the adaptability in his build. It's like, all right, Ninja Ken, he's doing really, really well compared to the rest of his team. Make him carry now. And Nocturne, he's someone who can kind of carry. He has enough impact to swing fights in his team's favor, which, with the rest of Complexity backing him up, Ninja Ken was fantastic at. Now, we do see Elise being locked in, very commonly banned out, and with Nocturne no longer available, they're trying to kind of limit some of the options available for Ninja Ken. He could always go for that Mundo as well in the jungle, and Elise, in general, she's such a good ganker early on. She has so much DPS early, mid, late. That percentage scaling is fantastic. And as a result, if you're going up against an Elise, you got to be scary from the 0-minute mark to the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, and with an Elise, almost pick and ban almost every single game here. It's nice to see that on Heaven Time. Now, Heaven Time, if you guys don't know, came from kind of obscurity, being an only Sejuani player that made it all the way to Challenger. This is even like before the Sejuani reworks. And then picked up Zac, and then he's really diversified his champion pool. And on Elise, one of his better champions. Nice to see him grabbing that away. And like you said, could see Mundo in the jungle for Ninja Ken, but probably will default to something like maybe a Jarvan or even Lee Sin. He's got a lot in his roster.
Lots of things available. I would like to see him farm up again because he's really good at it. If the lanes are doing okay, I like that sudden 6, that really strong level 7 Nocturne compared to the level 5 Jarvan we saw last game. That really kind of carried for quite a bit there. Now, Trooper locks in Tristana. It worked last game, not necessarily super well in lane, but we can see if they can pull something out. Again, it is a lane where if Tristana doesn't do that well, it can be difficult if you're pushing underneath the turret, but still, Trooper was able to push aggressively, get decent amounts of CS, and the Targans from MIA really helped keep him in the game.
Yeah, MIA's Targans is kind of a little bit of a band-aid for that rough early start versus LOD. The big problem for LoLPro is how do you make that bottom lane carry even harder when I think LOD was like 5-0 coming into like the 15-minute mark. So that guy was way far ahead. What's the choice? And it looks like it should be a Jinx, but you're never going to see LOD play Jinx because it's banned against him every single game.
I mean, Jinx is an amazing champion. If you're a good Jinx player, if you're someone actually, like we saw from Determined Gaming, able to really change the Flame Chompers into something like a Thresh, it makes it such a strong, powerful, impactful champion. But, we're not going to see Jinx this game. I think Complexity bans her out every game because of how good she is. Now, Kayle being looked at, we do see Sona locked in.
Is that what they need, though? I mean, while we don't quite know Gamer's champion pool, and especially with the Ziggs that he played last game now taken away, put on Jinte, I like that choice on Jinte, and it's locked in. A Kale for the mid lane. We talked about how do you get your AD carry to carry harder. Let's try making him invincible. I think that's a pretty good option.
Now, how does Kale do versus Ziggs? Ziggs in general, if he can, get level 5, get a blue buff, he just pushes in aggressively, constantly tosses out bouncing bombs, and you're playing a different game than that Ziggs. That Ziggs is farming up, tossing out skill shots. You're just trying to dodge everything, kind of like an old asteroid clone, except you can't fire back. So if Gamer can really take control early on, maybe that matchup will work versus the Ziggs. But if not, if that's just straight up Kale versus Ziggs, I kind of fear for him.
And especially, it's not just the Kale versus Ziggs matchup. It's what happens during team fights. Sure, somebody's going to be invincible, and that's a great way to turn things around. But speaking of turnarounds, it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a turnabout here as Kale is apparently Orianna. Now, when I go for placeholders, usually picking viable champions isn't what I...
She's usable, guys. She's usable.
Where's Heimerdinger when you need him?
Maybe he doesn't own him because he's not usable. He wasn't around for Season 1 or pre-Season 1 when he was OP and very annoying.
That means that he can't raise his Stongers, and as unfortunate as that is, probably something that we should see a few more people doing.
We'll not be doing on stream, by the way.
Probably not. I mean, nobody actually does that anymore. Seriously?
Well, we don't have the, how on Twitch you have
Prius
to,
is crying and rolling on the floor in the background. He's doing that little dog whimper. It's pretty sad, but either way, it's nice to see us getting back into Champion Select. Sure, we should be there in just a second. And without a Kale, makes me pretty sad, but we are going to see an Orianna there.
Yeah, Orianna, a solid pickup, very safe. Makes a lot more sense versus Ziggs because instead of all of a sudden trying to do risky pokes early on in the game, you can just kind of farm, wave clear, a bit more passive, and Orianna still has to dodge bombs quite a bit, and it's still pretty dangerous, but having more reliable range makes it much safer for her.
I'm going to petition the English language to remove the D from dodge just so I can say Doge more often. There's going to be the lock-in on all the same champions, standard picks and bans coming out. Interesting Hecarim jungle pick. It was Ninja Ken's kind of default when he didn't get Nocturne, he'd go straight to the Hecarim, but you don't really see that champion all too often. Any specific reason we don't see Hecarim in Season 4?
You need to be able to survive the jungle, and he'd actually fallen off quite a bit for that. He's kind of mana dependent. You take a blue buff from him early on, he will just run out of gas. But he can survive the jungle relatively well now after the recent jungle hot fixes during 3.14, and he does okay, and his big goal is going to be what Ninja Ken did in the past, farm back up, try and get level 6 relatively early on, and you can really make an impact in most of the lanes. For example, LOD, if he tries to Arcane Shift as Ezreal, it's actually hard to get out of range of the ultimate because it has such a big AoE that Ninja can still land at Fear, still land at DPS, and just shred Ezreal to pieces.
Well, and keep in mind, with this 3.15 patch chain, the jungle got a little bit easier. There's some damage taken off of the white and then the major buffs as well. So you take a little bit less damage. It's only about 5 damage for each one of those that has been removed. But hey, every little bit counts, especially on your first jungle clear.
I mean, you get hit 10 times golden white, all of a sudden you have 50 more HP. That's 10% of your HP at level 1, level 2. So hopefully, I want to see Ninja Ken go aggressive when he can. I want to see if we can get one of those random and rare level 3, level 4 Hecarim ganks where he just shows up and pushes someone in the proper direction. But if he doesn't, he'll farm it up, hit level 6 soon, and with the backup of someone like Jinte and the Mega Inferno Death Bomb, well, that healing he gets from his W will be massive.
And what is also massive is the commercial break we're about to take and the shout-out that we're about to give to our fabulous sponsors. Do hope you guys will support them. They are as follows. One, Loot Crate. It's been with us for the entire NACL season. You know them. You love them. Understand, hopefully by now, that Loot Crates are actually Croots of Late.
Croots of Late.
Literal Croots right here of late. We don't spell that with a K. But either way, it's going to be an awesome opportunity for $13.37 a month. You can pick up whatever I just said, but it's filled with cool stuff. And getting cool stuff helps make you cool stuff, and that's exactly what you want to do, right? I mean, that's what I want to do. And you can do that by checking out lootcrate.com. You can also check out Phoenix Peripherals. They make some incredible peripherals, impeccably crafted as well, I might add. You can check out anything you possibly want. Headset, mice, keyboards, mouse pads, it's all over there. And while they may be out of stock now, it's definitely worth the wait. So head over to phoenixcollection.com or just click the Phoenix right down below the stream and check them out.
You can also go ahead and check out LoLChat, a very cool phone app where you can chat with people in the League of Legends client while not being on it yourself. Sometimes, hey, your laptop, it runs out of juice for a bit. You don't know if you can message someone about that important game you're missing. So go ahead, download the LoLChat app, and we'll give you some cool communication inside the game. And of course, last but not least, the LoL. He's a cool dude on YouTube, produces some awesome League of Legends content aimed at going ahead and showing you the lighter side of competitive League of Legends, but also showing you how to improve as a player, how to improve your elo, and it's all good for good fun and a good laugh. So check out his YouTube channel at the LoL.
And so we are actually going to have a little bit of a remake as there were some bad servers achieved. So we're going to cut to a quick little break here while we get into the game. But don't worry, we're going to throw some awesome music your way as well. So we'll be right back with the second game in this best of 3, Complexity up 1-0 versus LoLPro. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League playoffs. We're here in the semifinal, second semifinal of the day as Complexity take on LoLPro. Now, with a win in Complexity's pockets and some server issues in the interim, it's nice to see the game back and finally underway as LoLPro, without NY Jackie, is taking a little bit of a long flight home, and Gamers XZ will be playing for him, as we might have to rename him Molly if people can't find him pretty soon. But either way, LoLPro looking to find a win, bring themselves back in this best of 3 versus Complexity. I am Rapid, and here with Studio. Take it away.
Yeah, I gotta say that was a long pause, but we're nice stretched out. Gotta hear some great songs from our DJ, and we're ready for some League of Legends action. As right now, Billy Boss is kind of thwarting all of Complexity's plans. He's sitting up at the top lane, or in the top river, and Complexity, they want to move forward, possibly go for a late invade, but Billy Boss in the area means if they step forward, they're gonna get spotted, and well, there goes their cool plans for any sort of invasion.
But if Billy Boss steps forward, that could be the end of his plans for not giving away first blood. Megazira's in the front, just waiting to throw a cleaver out there and get the catch out there. And keep in mind, this is Season 1, this is 3.15 patch here in Season 4, and some of the changes are going to affect MIA's Fiddlestick support. His 3-second fear at max rank is now only 2.25 seconds. That's a big hit to that really long CC.
You can actually see Complexity backing up in the brush. They don't want to be spotted by any sort of axe Billy Boss might toss into it. And I mean, he's the top laner. He's going to walk into the brush. This could be it.
There we go, right inside the brush. There's going to be crows to silence out there, so no fear. Cleaver will miss. He's going to ghost himself away. There shouldn't be a way to catch him out there. Another undertow will hit onto 2. Billy Boss stays alive.
I mean, that is a speedy Olaf. That last undertow axe, of course, stopping any sort of chase. And Olaf, a very tanky champion with his base stats. However, Complexity will be stealing up the blue buff of LoLPro, and LoLPro will be stealing up the blue buff of Complexity. A trade for trade, tip for tap, as blue buffs go all over the place.
Yeah, 2 summoners down, though. The smite, and probably more importantly, the ghost there from Ken, who's trying to catch in onto Billy Boss. Couldn't quite make it happen, but ghost for ghost trades the jungler's ghost for the top laner's ghost, which means that top lane going to be a little bit more vulnerable early on for LoLPro. Kind of trading away mid laners, as it's kind of the reverse of last game's matchup. Jinte now on Ziggs, and trading away his trademark Orianna to Gamer XZ, once again subbing in for NY Jackie. Now, Eventime finishing up his buff. Ken dropping down pretty low at his. We talked about this earlier on. The lack of sustain, the rough early jungle for Ken's Hecarim, really kind of hurting him out early on, maybe preventing some of those early ganks.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's going to rotate towards his Wraith camp possibly. He really can't do a whole lot just because he's going to be so low on HP. Afterwards, if Eventime showed up, he'd actually be a very easy gank. And you can actually see, instead of going for the camp, he's going to rotate bottom lane, try and back up his Mundo brother in the bot lane. And with that, they'll hold the 2v2. Something we haven't seen any of, I think, so far in the past couple days. Defensive 2v2s for the most part. It's been aggressive, offensive, going for the kills, going for the ganks. Hecarim and Mundo can go for those kills if a cleaver does land, but it's a bit dangerous as they're both melee range and might have trouble sticking on to LOD.
And Ken very low, and after getting counter jungle just a little bit, it's going to come down and get a little bit of extra HP. More placed in the river there by LoPali, and now a Cocoon to come out will not catch in on a Trooper, but a lot of damage traded back there to Billy Boss, and some coming back from Eventime as well.
Having time is doing a little bit of DPS, trying to chunk down MIA. MIA taking a lot of damage from that red buff, really buffing up at least his overall weak auto attacks. Fear does come out into Heaven Time though.
There's the Fear Repel out there, but the Drain continues way up into the air. Heaven Time takes the damage. The Crow to bounce it. It's going to pick up first blood. Not the way you would have thought, as Billy Boss a little bit too far forward, but now down in the bottom lane, red buff's going to get applied there to both Lopali and LOD. In a 2v1, Ninja Ken is actually going to go down. Mega Zero, can he find the kill onto Lopali? He's going to die before Lopali kiting through the minions.
That creep block! Unfortunately, Mega Zero getting kited through the minions. He couldn't walk directly to Lopali at the last second. He couldn't get that last auto attack. So 2 for none in the bot lane, 1 for none in the top lane.
Looks like Mundo doesn't quite go where he pleases.
Unless he has Ghost activated, which unfortunately not in this game.
Or Phantom Dancer.
Or Phantom Dancer, yeah. He's got his options for that minion block, but unfortunately the minions did block, and Lopali abused that to his heart's content, which, hey, if you can do it, because it got him, 0 deaths and that 1 kill and assist.
So that's how you start the lane off. Mega Zero once again moving forward as he gets Ninja Ken back in his lane. This time around, they're going to be a little bit more wary to go in on there. A nice tower shot for Crow trade top lane and just dual lanes for now. Nothing too aggressive. Mid lane, though, we did see a cocoon there on a Jinte. A little bit of a pause as he hides himself back underneath his turret, down to half HP. We'll have to watch out for this dive.
Now, that fight top lane didn't really go into it, but unfortunately, Heaven Time tried to repel the Fiddlestick strain, but like Vladimir's pull, don't actually destroy it. It keeps hurting you, it keeps draining you, and does a lot of DPS. And you can see top lane, MIA and Troop have had a lot of personal time with that tower. It's very low on HP, might go down this wave. If not, it'll definitely go down the next wave if there is no backup for Billy Boss in the top lane.
Yeah, Chuper and MIA having this 1v2 to start things off is going to prevent the early lane deficit that they took in game number 1, going up in that duo lane versus LOD and Low Valley. Bottom lane, not a lot of damage down on the turret just yet, with a huge minion wave as well as 3 champions should trade back away pretty soon. That's why you have the jungler come down. Actually, a lot of damage on a Ninja Ken, just 1 more auto attack to take him down. Burst out way underneath the turret. Lopali actually tanks that one up, barely breaks turret aggro. Stays alive, no deaths just yet, but even still, bottom turret dropping down dangerously low. First turret of the game, though, does go to Complexity.
Hecarim suffering from something that people tend to forget about Hecarim. He's not tanky early on. He does not have really good defensive stats. A lot of his tankiness is based off using his AoE, the pulsing heal that he will generate based off damage done around him. And the thing is, if he doesn't either have a team backing him up doing a lot of damage while that heal's activated, or a lot of items to build up that tankiness, he's squishy as all hell. So that quick poke, that quick burst from Elise, Ezreal, and Sona, which is very high damage from all those champions actually in terms of burst, means that he's very quickly sent back to base. Dragon might be attempted soon by Complexity. They're a team that is known for just constantly going for those early dragons. Pretty much since a lot of Mortis joined the team, they would constantly go for a 4 to 5 minute dragon. Even if it was unsuccessful, they had that map pressure that made it so teams had to respond.
And that's the thing about Complexity, is that they don't give away anything for free. If they need to take a little bit of a hit early game, then they will. They know they can come back later on. There's actually going to be a cocoon right through the satchel charge. Billy Boss not really wanting to die the turret at level 6. Will get himself out of there, but still some damage traded back away to Jinte. Wave clear, though, to come out will kind of mitigate that. But a lot of pressure here on a very early dragon. Like you said, Season 2, Season 3, we've seen dragons at like 10, 13 minutes, something like that. This is incredibly early, 7.5 minutes. Now we will see LoLPro start to set this one up. Gamers XZ is level 6. There's a bouncing Crow to silence out most of the team there, but oh my goodness, the damage traded back onto MIA. He's going to get out of there. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb, hits onto 4. The flash out from Heaven Time, Cocoons, Schuper, and will back away. First dragon of the game will go down to LoLPro.
Heaven Time only has 8 CS. That is how aggressive Heaven Time has been playing this game. He's not even broken double digit in terms of CS. Constant aggression, constant cocoons across the map. And you're seeing the result in the low CS on both Ninja Ken and Heaven Time right now. Ninja Ken is constantly going below 100 HP, below 200 HP in any sort of team fight, because he just doesn't have anything to back him up. He finally has a Ruby Crystal that is his first bit of defense. Going to go for that Spirit of the Ancient Golem for tankiness, but at this point, every time he goes into a fight, he's being bursted out immediately by Mystic Shots, by Power Chords. And Heaven Time, kind of the same deal. He's only level 4. That's really, really low for this point in the game. Really low for having already taken a dragon, actually. And he's the lowest level in the game, actually. Tie with MIA and below Low Pally. So if Heaven Time wants to stay relevant, I mean, Elise doesn't really need level so much for the skills. She needs it more so for the just base stats. She has really good base damage. Now Megazero are gonna kind of meet him in the jungle.
Yeah, Heaven Time getting some help there, some backup. And Gamer's gonna get him out from behind enemy lines, takes away the blue buff, and looks to make his way on back out of there. Megazero, level 6, will counter jungle away himself a white. Keep in mind he's running tons of regeneration, quintessences. He's got it in, I think it's his offensives? Yeah, he's got it in reds too. So there's a lot of regen out there for Dr. Mundo. So even if he gets taken low, he's going to be able to regenerate it back. Not if he gets ignited. Some consistent damage. There's the Ghost coming off cooldown. One undertow after another. True damage to come down as well. There's no flash left to have. He can't even make it to the wall. Goes down, gets taken out for the 3rd kill of the game for LoLPro.
Billy Boss showing that Mundo does go where he pleases, but if he's doing it next to an undertow and Olaf, that Mundo will go where he pleases very, very slowly. And that's the thing Megazero will have to deal with throughout the entire game. Billy Boss playing that Olaf, the undertow axe spam, can very easily deal with the fact that Mundo gets high move speed with his ultimate activated. While battling the bot lane, doing a good trade with Jupiter though. LOD does take a lot of auto attack in response. If Billy Boss can keep up the pressure, depending on how he built, last time we saw a very defensive-focused Olaf. He built tank, and as a result, could not really deal with the Riven. Can Billy Boss deal with a Mundo this game? How is he going to build to deal with that purple menace?
Well, while it may be Megazero kills for now, yeah, it was in the same situation in game number 1. Managed to come back and really carry out that lane. He got to a point where he was not only crushing then Haunter in CS, but really just could not get taken down. Was killing the rest of Haunter's team there too. But this coming around is versus Billy Boss, and yeah, like you said, how's an Olaf going to deal with so much health on Dr. Mundo, a stat that really works well against people trying to do true damage?
We've actually seen the Olaf Mundo matchup in the past, and it did not go well for the Olaf. I believe the last Olaf we saw built Ravenous Hydra try to kind of outpush the Mundo and out-sustain him, and what happened was the Mundo ignored the minion wave and just dove him. It was Rux, I believe, constantly getting cleavered in the face, and could not survive the damage coming out from Haunter's actually.
So right now we do have Billy Boss subbing in. He is going to go top lane with the Spirit Vista's first start. That should make that lane relatively easy just to farm out for him. But he wants to play aggressively, and so building all those tanks that the old backwards cocoon. It's about sending a message to Jinte, telling him to back off that turret, and he will. So, message is successful. And as we head down back to the bottom lane, it's going to be a 1v1 for now, because you need more wave clear mid, you need more support and bodies in that middle lane to just keep that wave as at bay as you possibly can. Send those 80 carries down bottom to farm things out, both with those 1 kills in their kill column. But this time around it's Chuper with a 20 CS lead just about over LOD, kind of the reverse of game number 1.
Yeah, this time we saw the 2v1s come out, and because there's a lot more fighting going on, or at least longer fighting going on for LoLPro in the bot lane, LOD did miss out on quite a bit of CS because of that, and now he's low on mana, gonna have some trouble CSing underneath the turret, but should be able to pick up all the ranged minions.
All right, mid lane, we are going to see MIA going in aggressively. Lands the fear there on Gamer's. A perfect fear back into the enemy team. Crescendo to come out, or actually the command shockwave, rather, not going to be enough to keep Gamer alive. Nice dive there, but once again, Ninja Ken just keeps dropping down solo. Okay, LOH almost killed him out there. He's going to back off just to the side. If LoPally wants to go for a kill, you could probably grab it there, but might not want to overextend just yet.
LoPally with the crescendo whiff, it hit no one, did not interrupt MIA's drain, did not stop Ninja Ken's constant spam. And if that crescendo had hit one target, that actually would have been a kill, because if you look at the HP of Ninja Ken, look at the HP of MIA, without that drain HP, without Ninja Ken not taking that last bit of crescendo damage, the ignite from LoPally could have finished off and gotten him a kill. It's unfortunate, however, LoLPro is still maintaining a very slight gold lead. I mean, if LoPally is feeling a bit nervous, feeling a bit reckless, he's got to make sure those crescendos are on point, on par. Because if not, he needs that CC, he needs that damage.
Megazero up there in the top lane. On Dr. Mundo, it's a champion that you can't really ever shut down. You're always going to be able to build those tank stats, and unless you're just running in ahead of the rest of your team and taking 5 people, probably going to be able to at least be somewhat of a tanky menace. So the same build should come out from both top laners, just going for those early Kindle gems for extra CDR and just real effectiveness. You're going to be seeing a lot of Kindle gems Season 4. It builds into a lot of effective itemization for out there in the jungle. Heaven Time, Billy Boss, Megazero, and Ninja Ken all joining the Kindle Gem party. And, if we saw 3 more, we may be able to make a wish onto those. But for right now, only 4 in the inventories.
Of course, it depends on which dragon you're summoning rapid. Some of them, I think, require 9. Maybe one requires 5, I think. However, my lore on that isn't quite up to par. We'll see.
Do those dragons allow me to draw a dream card, though? That's my
Do those dragons care about the dragon that LoLPro just took?
And that's a good thing to talk about. That is slightly more related to League of Legends. With those 2 dragons in LoLPro's pockets, it's going to give them a 1,000 gold lead, which isn't all that much here at the 15-minute mark, but it's something. It shows that, hey, they've got the map control, they've got the global objectives, and even though we're tied in turrets, that is going to be a lot of extra global gold heading their way. Bloodthirster completed for LOD, but an Infinity Edge for Chuper really accentuates the CS advantage that he's gotten there down in the bottom lane.
Initiation from MIA. LoPro in a lot of danger now. Gets satcheled back, gets blown up. No chance for Crescendo, no chance for him to escape.
Oh, and the further dive comes out from NinjaKen. A little bit overzealous, goes ahead of the rest of his team, but there's a follow-up damage from Jinte at long range. Almost takes out LOD, but forces out the new and improved barrier icon for him. He's going to head himself off back to base, but even still, LoPally has still got that Crescendo off cooldown, but oh my god, was able to keep his AD carry rather alive. LOD getting out of there. A lot of aggression. The engage there from MIA, I kind of thought that was a little bit too early, but some great follow-up from the rest of Complexity. Secure themselves the even kill mark for now. They continue to press in, putting some extra damage on the middle turret.
Now, the reason that gank was successful is if you look at MIA's build, he's going for a lot more DPS than you normally see from a Fiddlesticks. There is no Sightstone onto him. It's not about the ward coverage, it's not about the vision, it's about the damage because he's got the Seeker's Arm Guard and Doran's Ring. Flash comes out into Gamer XC. Gamer XC getting chunked down. The Satchel Charge might be enough to finish him off. Chuper goes for the Flash, picks up the kill. The A-OK.
Flashing under turret, a move I see out of all too many AD carries out there, but this time for Chuper, wound up picking himself up a kill there on Orianna. Jinte taking down the middle turret for the 3rd outer turret of the game, being taken down there by Complexity, and with no more outers left, that really opens up the map to their own.
Now, a lot of the gold advantage that was on LoLPro's favor was from objectives. However, actually, NinjaKen trying to take down LoLPally.
Oh, Mega Inferno Bomb comes out, but it's just barely not enough. Some more heals to come out. Bouncing Crow will not bounce well enough. And there's a very low bottom lane there for LoLPro as they back out. This could actually be a 2nd-tier middle turret for Complexity, but no minions there. Don't want to overextend and take it. It will back on off for now.
And that advantage for LoLPro is all in objectives. So if you look at Tristana's item build, has the Infinity Edge over Ezreal's Bloodthirster, though. He has Finch Machine now. And if you look at Ziggs has the Athenes, essentially the big gold was coming onto the solo lanes, who all had CS advantages. A little bit more gold for Jinte, a little bit more gold for Chuper. And now that we see the Infinity Edge come out, the Athenes and Holy Grail come out, these are big items, these are crucial items, and, well, Jinte's got a lot more gold built up. He's going to be terrifying once he goes ahead and probably goes back to buy a needlessly large rod. This mid turret being pressured now by LoLPro. They know that Jinte is low on HP. They know this is their chance to really make something happen.
Yeah, and especially after losing their own middle turret, unless you counter with that middle turret being taken down, they do manage to take it out. You're going to be facing, Command Shockwave pulls Mega Zero back lane. Chuper barely makes it out alive. Mega Zero pops his items and flashes over the wall. Will still be alive for now. Billy Boss with the kill on a NinjaKen. There's Mega Zero going to get cocooned. Stays alive in the back. The flash out way at the end of the side, but it's going to be a double kill. Billy Boss still going strong there in the middle of the fight. Chuper to go down. Billy's still in there. The Boss, well named. There's a satchel charge taken down Gamers. Billy Boss drops the true damage, picks himself up a quadra kill. Can't take down the Olaf. Mega Zero there to try. Where's the Penta? Billy Boss not going to fight it. Mega Zero safe and sound underneath his turret.
I mean, he's got red buff. Mega Zero doesn't have his ultimate up, so if he does poke out a bit too far, Billy Boss can easily dive this. Already back at half HP. Has a Spirit Visage, has a potion ticking. Of course, has those vicious strikes for very strong sustain. That team fight, though, it was good counter initiation from Complexity. However, they got very split up. All of a sudden, it was Chuper off to the side, finding a 1v1, trying to pick off Elise. It was MIA diving in on his own. Doesn't have the zombies completed yet, so he's not going to survive an aggressive initiation like that. And that spread constant 1v1 initiation across the fight meant that someone like, I don't know, an Olaf named Billy Boss was able to go ahead and just take complete control of the fight and just chunk people down, reckless slings one after another.
Yeah, but it's Mega Zero pentakills, so not going to have any of those, at least so far. Billy Boss kind of making up for what we saw from Haunter, who was able to get a big advantage over Mega Zero in that top lane, but never really did all that much with it. Now it's Billy Boss. He's like, hey, I got a little bit to work with, and now he has a lot. 5, 1, and 0. Grabs that Spirit Visage as well as some Ninja Tabi, and it's going to look for maybe cleaning out that last 5th kill in the next team fight. We'll see if he can make it happen. Heading down bottom lane right as Chuper recalls, and Chuper's something to talk about. He's got a Infinity Edge static shiv, really great itemization for only 19 minutes into the game. That is extremely well, and after being kind of a source of weakness for Complexity, at least over their NACL playoff run so far, it's nice to see that bottom lane really, really working out for them.
Doing okay. I like that static shiv build. It's a lot of early damage. These fights have been very, very mobile, and as a result, that static shiv burst ends up building up quite quickly. And if Trooper can get to the late game, I mean, Tristana is still Tristana. She can still carry from far, far away, and as long as Olaf can be relatively controlled, which Tristana is great at dealing with because she can just rocket jump and bait out the Ragnarok, it's very difficult for Olaf to stick onto someone like Tristana, especially if you can get over a wall.
Mega Zero's been split pushing. He's starting to get back up there in CS, but he's still down. He only has that Sunfire Cape when Wild together with the Burning Agony. That's going to help him push down that top wave. He's drawing Billy Boss back top. When a 0-2 champion can take one of your 5-1 champions out of the game, you can even see Dr. Moon's got teleports, so he's going to be more mobile across the map anyway. That's actually a good trade for Complexity. It still gives LoLPro over the Dragon, and kind of surprising to see Complexity just keep giving those objectives away. Now 3 for LoLPro, really keeping them in that gold count, now back to even.
And you can see that the map moving. Look at the minions at the bottom wave. They're already reaching that inner turret for LoLPro. And this is how Complexity is playing. They know that if they get into a straight-up fight, they got to worry about the Olaf right now. If they delay, that gives a chance for Ninja Ken to actually get tanky so he can survive and use the Spirit of Dread to keep himself alive. That gives a chance for Chuper to get that late-game Tristana damage. It gives a chance for Jinte to finish up that death cap. So they're more going for a stall style of play. That is great for them, especially if they can avoid fights altogether by forcing minion waves to control the LoLPro movement.
So for right now, we're going to take a little bit more of a passive time to keep farming things out, and that actually works out really well for Complexity because they don't want to deal with how strong Billy Boss are right now, and they want to keep getting Chuper on towards that late game. If he can grab a Last Whisper, there's no degree to which Billy Boss will be able to tank through his damage, and as Billy tries to dive in, there's going to be enough escape and enough damage to really mitigate the effectiveness that Billy Boss has right now, almost up to a Randuin. That guy is so tanky, but at the same time, it's Complexity looking to force the engage. LoPali getting caught out there, not enough CC. Mega Inferno Bomb to come out. Huge crescendo, though, for Gamers. Gonna try to turn this back around with a double kill for Chuper. Trying to pick up a triple there. Jumps back forwards. One more auto attack, not critting there. Gamers XZ gonna get dropped low. Will he go down? The Crow Storm over the wall. MIA takes out LOD. Gives a Chuper another reset. Gamers, please, has some damage to throw backwards. Jinte takes out the middle turret. Gamers makes it out alive, and a huge 3-0 in favor of Complexity.
I mean, go for LoPali, go for the Sona, go for the Squishy, because that crescendo is crucial for keeping the team fight alive for LoLPro. Without the crescendo, that stops good setup for Orianna. Without the crescendo, that makes so LOD can't really deal with Ninja Ken, his ultimate, and that follow-up burst potential from MIA. So they focused on LoPali. They spent everything killing him. But guess what? That sustained damage from Ziggs, that sustained damage from Chuper, and of course MIA still hadn't ulted quite yet, was able to just pick up the fight, clean people up left and right. They need a crescendo to land, and even using it on a Hecarim that's ulted, it will actually still apply the stun once he lands from his ultimate. But regardless, it's not stopping the team fight. It's not stopping that initiation. Billy Boss moving forward, though.
Now they're going to catch it on to MIA. There's his Zhonya's Hourglass. It's a great item, but probably won't be all that effective keeping him alive. And with a nice pick there, Baron's up. It's right there. And with Chuper bottom lane, he's back in base and can't stop anything. He does have home guards. We'll get back into the fray just in time, but I mean, if LoLPro had wanted to, they could have pushed on to that. Would have been a little bit risky, but at the same time, hey, you've picked off the support, and now finally Chuper's getting back into the action. So A little bit of a crisis averted, but still a strong push for LoLPro.
It would have been pretty scary. They'd be fighting in a pit that can easily land a good Mega Inferno bomb from Jinte. They also had a big risk because LoLPally did not have Crescendo up. The only ults that were really up at the time was Gamer, XC's, and Billy Boss's. Heaven Time doesn't really have an ult. And Trooper might be caught out. Does get the rocket jump off.
But is it in time? There's a nice satchel charge. Will it disengage? And then huge fear right there. But Billy Boss is going hard. Nothing stopping the Viking deep underneath that turret. Lands another axe. The undertow onto Jinte. Billy Boss just goes where he pleases. A double kill off of a reckless swing. Dives through the turret. Turret will fall 11-11. And the turret's count about to get evened up. Billy Boss put the team on his back, carrying him through to what could be the first inhibitor of the game.
And you can off to the side, could go for initiation, but no one's really that low. The good sustain coming out from LoLPally, and LoLPally had a great crescendo. It was a finisher, it was a sniper, it really only hit Trooper, and that's all it needed to. With the Ignite finisher now, inhibitor already down for complexity, and Juken does dodge the cocoon, won't be CC'd, and we'll be able to kind of walk out of this. However, the damage is done. With that inhibitor down, what is going to be Complexity's response?
You know, I really like Billy Boss's use of all of his offensive itemization to become 8-1 and kill absolutely everyone. I feel like, you know, the more, you know, BF swords and he has all defensive stats. He's still killing everyone, and it's just awesome to see how strong he is, not only just as a champion, but how well he's able to utilize getting so far ahead early on to help out the rest of his team. Like, the bottom lane for LoLPro has been winning out most of the time against Complexity, but in the one game where Complexity have a very strong bottom lane, he's just really making up for that. But now LoLPro is trying to stop the Complexity Baron. Huge command shockwave right there. There's going to be ulted, but the Baron successfully taken down by... There's the smite. All right, so it is going to be Nijiken taking that for Complexity, but is that going to be enough to turn this fight around? Already Heaven Time and LOH out of the picture. Undertow to fall backwards, but Gamers XC, there's the escape. So only losing 2, but more importantly losing the Dragon. Or the Baron. I keep doing that, but it is Baron Nashor, I promise, no matter how much I try to mislead you. Super Minions, though, pushing down the mid turret is an inhibitor for Baron. A good trade for Complexity.
If they can make something happen with the Baron, I mean, at this point, if they stall it out and the inhibitor pops back up, that's okay. It's not a great trade. They still have the inhibitor exposed, but hey, in the end, they're not being pressured by Super Minions. But if they can make something happen with this Baron, and they definitely can, they've shown that their team fight is strong. They just can't let the solid initiation, they can't get caught out beforehand and give the fight control to LoLPro. Like that engagement, that was LoLPro trying to respond. Actually, Megazero trying to catch up. Billy Boss, it'll be a tough fight for both of them. Megazero takes a lot of damage, but so does Billy Boss.
Billy Boss very low. He's 8-1, and a 0-2 Dr. Mundo is going to pop his Hex Drinker, start running around in circles. Megazero doesn't quite want to fight that, doesn't know what other friends he might find, but even still, nice to see Dr. Mundo still going where he pleases.
Yeah, that sustain coming from the vicious strikes from Olaf is what he was waiting for, just kind of passively holding back till he knew he could sustain. And Megazero now with the ultimate down, probably won't go for a chase, but showing that, you know what, percentage current health damage, pretty damn good. Billy Boss dodges that last cleaver and does make it back to base too. I'm like, all right, he's gonna fight now, maybe, nah.
It's a mini game. Axes versus cleavers, which is stronger? I feel like we need an epic rap battle about those two guys. But either way, pushes continue top lane. Middle is where we're going to see most of the action. It's the most direct turret, and it's the lane that's spawning super minions for LoLPro. So if you could put your entire team there, it really mitigates the effectiveness. Now, in patch 3.15, super minions are actually really, really strong, and it's not just the strength of the individual super minions. They now give a 70% offensive and defensive buff to the little minions alongside them, which actually makes them pretty tanky as well. But great thing about Ziggs, and especially the most recent buff he got, is that now he does even more damage to minions, so it just helps him clear out those waves even more effectively. Complexity pushing in for an inhibitor of their own.
Billy Boss and Megazero dealing up top lane. Complexity can try to back up Megazero. Would be a bit dangerous to go for a dive.
21 health every 0.5 seconds, just regenerating there on Dr. Mundo. You can't deal persistent damage to him, and that's what Olafs do best. They just want to wail on you all day long. Can't really do that too effectively, as Olaf's regen not quite on that level. Mechazero's almost up to full health again, and this push coming into that top lane now. Still have to watch out for those super minions pushing down middle, as the middle inhibitor hasn't quite respawned for Complexity.
Complexity actually, Mega Zero gets stunned out, can take a little bit of poke, mostly from the turret. Not a whole lot of follow-up. It's a Mundo with ultimate up. You don't want to blow all your eggs on that basket because that basket will regenerate, grow more eggs, and walk away. But
I want to see that, Studio. I want to see a basket regenerate
eggs and walk away.
Is it regenerating the legs or the eggs?
Legs and eggs. It grows them both.
Both at the same time. That's one heck of a basket.
It's pretty crazy. It's a scary, horrifying. I would not recommend seeing that basket.
All right. Well, that's why we aren't sponsored by Basket Crate. It's Loot Crate here, so it's nice to see. Hopefully no crates of loot growing legs, but either way, wave clear is what we're getting at, and there is enough of it from LoLPro to keep themselves in this game so far. Just waiting on Complexity to get their kind of ducks in a row. Ducks do have legs and walk away, so I'm okay with that analogy, and push themselves into this top turret. Let's see, Baron Nashor, the buff only about half gone. See if they can make some use out of it as they go for the dive.
A lot of poke coming out. Complexity really moving forward right now. They know they can apply some pressure, just get little bits of turret damage one by one in terms of minion wave. You know, Chuber, he's got a long auto attack range, not level 18, doesn't have the full 700, but regardless, he can just get, 1 or 2 auto attacks a wave, and it's safe. However, Chuber took a decent amount of damage. They're going to back on out. It looks like they've done their job. They've waited for the inhibitor to respawn. They can try and take more control of the game again. Because they do have the gold lead, they do have, I feel, the map lead, except LoLPro are going to go ahead and take the dragon, as they did push out mid and just kind of got that little bit of leverage for a second.
So we were asking what's better, an inhibitor or a Baron, and it turns out they're both about equal. Nothing actually accomplished all that much with the Baron buff. I think Complexity got like 1 turret off of that. They are 1 turret up, but now it's actually still the dragons continue to come for LoLPro. They haven't given up a dragon all game. I think those are their 4th dragon so far, so nice to see them still having some global presence out there on the map, and actually now with the advantage as far as turrets are concerned. Even though they're down a turret, they're up a turret that counts in that middle lane, leaving an exposed inhibitor there for Complexity.
This does mean that if LoLPro ever gets a chance to move across the map like they'd want to, they can very easily kind of barrel down through that top lane, take some turrets more or less for free if they ever get any sort of advantage. The issue is Complexity. They have good ward coverage, they have a lot of offensive potential, and if you're walking into the jungle without knowing where, let's say, Hecarim or Fiddlesticks are, you risk being initiated on, CC'd, and blown up. MIA, by the way, has Zhonya's, now building more support-oriented items, which, like what I believe is a Sightstone, could be haunting guys, but regardless, that Fiddlesticks is scary, even though he is going to that support route.
You know, he does have a Frost Queen's Blade out there too, which is really cool for Fiddlesticks, because some Fiddlesticks you'll see build like a Rylai's Crystal Scepter because it makes it harder to run out of the Crow Storm. Well, hey, Frost Queen's Blade kind of does that same thing, so we'll have to see if he goes in with that. There is actually the ultimate Reckless Charge right on in there. Billy Boss already starting to get in onto Chuper, but he dives in way too quickly and is almost dead right now. MIA going to go ahead, and Zhonya's out there, not effectively enough. Did try to Crow Storm, but it's a double kill actually this time for Heaven Time. Billy Boss trying to run away from Mega Zero, has LoPally there for a little bit of extra support. Mega does not have that Baron buff. He's sustaining through 2 people that can't deal damage, but he's actually going to get away from the other side. There's the reset onto Chuper. 1 more auto attack, another kill comes his way. There's a rocket jump back on towards LOD. Trade some damage back, but LOD has to keep running away. Overall, a 2-for-4 exchange in favor of Complexity.
LOD is going to try and hold the turrets. He knows that if he spams up that Mystic Shot, gets a little bit more damage down. Jintei can't keep pressuring him. Will eventually have to back on out. But that was the Mega Zero, teleport from behind style of strategy. We've seen that a bunch of times today, and it's worked out so well every time. So Mega Zero shows up at the back. The fight scatters. Billy Boss at this point can't do enough damage to Mega Zero to really 1v1 him. And he stalled out Billy Boss, made sure that the Tristan in the back was safely being protected by the fact that Olaf was distracted by the big purple monster. But the fight gets broken up. Mega Zero stalled like a champ, waited by the wall, and just sat there until Ziggs showed up with the help of Chuper. MIA is stunned out though.
Yeah, MIA's gotten caught out a couple times here, but actually not enough of a collective response there from LoLPro to really deal with that Baron attempt. And off the back of that 1 team fight, it is going to be the 2nd Baron buff of the game there for Complexity. They're backing off back to the base, want to make sure that this is their push. And they've got the 3 items plus a Quicksilver Sash there on Chuper. They've got an incredibly strong mid lane as well, Death Cap, as well as a Lich Bane alongside the Athene's Unholy Grail, really working out, and almost a Void Staff there for Jintei. That guy does some damage, and while Gamers may have some damage of his own, He's definitely not on that same level as Jinte, who is up over 100 CS.
And the burst Ziggs combo is amazing. So Lichbane is a core item on Ziggs because he does have that passive that will enhance his auto attack with a lot of extra magic damage. The fact that you've got that base passive that already hurts and hits like a truck and it's being amplified by a Lichbane means to kill someone, he probably has to land maybe the ultimate at its lowest damage, a bouncing bomb, and an auto attack. That's not even factoring the minefield, it's not even factoring in factoring the satchel charge, which just makes his burst that much better. Of course, that's for squishies. Someone like Billy Boss going to be a little bit trickier to kill. By a little bit, I mean quite impossible for him to kill quickly. But regardless, Jinte is looking so strong right now. It's kind of the case across the board. I think NinjaKen finally has enough items to not get blown up in about 2 seconds. I think he'll survive to 3 or 4.
Well, there's going to be NinjaKen waiting there. LOD checks the brush, and pretty good idea that he did. He is going to clear that wave out for now. Completely tanky build there from NinjaKen, but with the Ruby Crystal and a longsword, could go for a Spirit Visage or that Trinity Force that we saw him build, albeit much earlier in game number 1 there in his items. Mega Zero pushing on down bottom lane. You know, I'd love to check his regeneration because right now with that Baron buff and a ton of HP, it's got to be up around 200-300 health every 5 seconds. So he just walks underneath the turret, goes where he pleases, and that is going to be the 6th turret of the game taken down for Complexity.
That's what, 23 HP every half second? Yeah, that is about 200, and let's just say 30 HP every 5 seconds, which is amazing. They're going for this bottom lane push. An issue Complexity does have is when it comes to cracking the turrets, it's going to be based off Trooper auto attack. So you can't take any harass, can't take any split. If the ball lands onto him, that's very risky, very dangerous. If LoLPro flashes with an ultimate or lands an ultimate, doesn't have flash available right now, that's also a major risk. So he has to play cautiously and a little bit more defensively, but he can still get a lot of turret damage down quickly.
The other thing besides just Super is going to be Jinte with that Lichbane takes down turrets very effectively. And Mega Zero's right in the middle, a huge crescendo. There's the command shockwave. A nice Zhonya's from MIA keeps him alive. Crow to come out, silences gamers, can't go anywhere. Super flashing in, a double kill flash out from LOD, but you can't run away from Dr. Mundo. Mega Zero underneath that turret, a double kill off of an infected cleaver, a 4 for 0 so far for Complexity, who now push into that middle lane. There's Jinte bouncing up there, but a surrender vote from LoLPro means Complexity take the 2-0 win in this best of 3. They're into the grand finals to face off against Team Coast.
And that's been the story all season. Who are the top 2 teams from each conference? Complexity dominated the L1 spot in the opposite league. Both teams have been just #1 in their division, #1 in general, and we finally see them coming together in the grand finals.
And that is going to be an incredible grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5 held tomorrow. So if you guys have enjoyed the quarters, the semifinals of the NACL Season 1 playoffs, there have been some absolutely incredible games, all the way from Determined Gaming coming out and showing better games than I've seen out of almost any other challenger team, other than, of course, the team that beat them, Team Coast, to advance. And now Complexity, they were almost unstoppable all season long. One of the favorites, but then coming into playoffs right before the NACL Season 1 playoffs, hit some roster troubles, but looking stronger than ever. They come into the grand finals to face off against Team Coast in what's is going to be a battle of 2 of the top of the leaders of both conferences for NACL all season long.
And they're tremendous teams themselves. Coast, they've still got that chutzpah, they still got that split push, and at the same time can team fight. And Complexity, you know, they took that hit. They did not make it to the LCS relegations, and it's unfortunate for them, but they've shown that regardless of that, they're still sticking together, at least for now, and showing that they've got what it takes to deal with some of the best.
And that's going to do it for today's broadcast. Some incredible best of 3s. Did have our own fair share of incredible plays. So if you guys have been sticking with us all day long, we really appreciate you coming out, sticking with us and staying tuned and hopefully enjoying some of the great music, the great teams, and everything that NACL has to offer. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. We're going to throw one final shout out to our sponsors before we let DJ Doug Prius take it away, and that's those are going to be Loot Crate. It's a crate of loot for $13.37 a month. You guys can click on the crate down below and head over to lootcrate.com and check out all the cool stuff they have to offer, as well as Phoenix Peripherals. Clicking on the Phoenix down below takes you to phoenixcollection.com, where you can check out some impeccably crafted gamer gear, whether it's mice, keyboards, headsets, or mouse pads. It's all going to be there eventually and definitely worth the wait, so make sure to go ahead and check them out.
And there's, of course, a LoL Chat. LoL Chat is a great app for your phone to go ahead and communicate in the League of Legends client without needing the League of Legends client. Like, let's say your laptop runs out of batteries, you gotta message your friend, you'll be late for that scrim. A LOL chat, a great app. You should check that link down below. And of course, last but not least, the LoL. Is a cool YouTuber guy. He makes a lot of constant League of Legends content aimed at improving you as a player, improving your elo, and showing the lighter side of competitive League of Legends. So go ahead, check out his YouTube channel, the LoL. And with that, Rapid, I think we're just going to have to wrap it up for tonight. We've got the finals tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific, or when the Battle of the Atlantic and EU LCS relegations finish. Got to give, got to give them some space to do their thing. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. It's been a fantastic night. Coast versus Complexity. Get hype.
We'll see you later.